Alright everyone, we're going to go ahead and use splines and generate some road. Alright, if you go ahead and take a look over on the right hand side, you can see I have a road texture. It's horizontal. I went ahead, just found this online and brought it on into the engine. To the left in the inspector, sorry, not the inspector, the scene hierarchy, you see I just have a node 3D. I just created a 3D scene and that's it. That's all we've done here. And I'm going to go ahead and in the top right corner where we have all of our axes, I'm going to go ahead and just click on the Y on top just so I can have a straight look directly down. That way we're not all confused, we're like this and we're just like slightly off, and right, because we're going to be clicking and it might make things just a little awkward. So I'm just going to click on that to make sure we're straight, we're perfectly up and down here, or looking perfectly down. Right, this isn't going to be too difficult for us to actually create. The first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go ahead and add into our scene. And what we're going to add is a path 3D. You can go ahead and create that, and you'll see we have this gizmo here in the middle. Don't really need to worry about it, but if you look at the top, we're going to have these new options at the top. Select points is set already. We're also going to have select control points, add points, delete points, and close curve, and this little option menu which just has everything selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the green one that says add points. And from here, we can go ahead and we can just start clicking around. Right, so I'm just going to go like this. And I think I'll end it there. And you might be wondering, well, why not? Why don't we close it? Why don't we go ahead and do something like that? It might make things a little weird. If we try to do that, we can't actually close it like that. But what we can do is, remember right there at the top, we have one called close curve. We can click that and it'll automatically close that up. It'll seal up that gap for us. And if you were to actually look close, you can see that this actually has 2 points that are actually on here. So you see it just created a second point at the same place as the first one. But that might give us a visual issue. It might not. We'll see as we go ahead. If so, we can easily fix that. But since we created that, I'm now going to go ahead and rotate off to the side, and we can see it is perfectly flat. So now we can have something for like a racetrack would be one option, just based off the shape that we have here. But we can also make this a wide variety of other shapes. Say if you want a town, you could easily create different branches coming off. But anyway, so with our path 3D, we're now going to go ahead and we're going to add a. Sorry, we're going with a CSG poly. There we go. Got confused because it looks like a box. It's not a box. It's not a mesh. Technically, it's a polygon, even though it looks like a box. But anyway, so we have a CSG polygon here, and this is basically going to be our road. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring this side down. And I'm going to bring the other side down. Well, and we're going to have, I'm just going to make it more of a thinner road here. And if I could just look from direct side here, we can get a better angle. I want this straight. What it look like? Give me one moment. Alright, so if that's not straight, I'm going to say it's close enough. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a material. Standard shader is fine. And I'm just going to go to the albedo and drag my texture in there. Alright, so now this texture, it doesn't exactly line up too well with this. But we'll see it better when we put it along the path, but we're going to have to come back into our material and play with the UVs a little bit to fix that. And that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the mode on my CSG polygon, and I'm going to change it to path. And for path node, I'm going to go ahead and hit the assign button, select my path 3D, and now you see I have this road going all the way around. And it looks pretty nice. Now we're going to have a few options like path simplified. We turn that up, we'll get less points, simplifying our path more and more. And as you see, as we get less and less points, eventually it's not even going to look like what we had at the end of the day. So you can always tweak that. Maybe put more nodes or more points along your path than you intend. And for the path rotation, we can leave it on path follow. You can play around with the other options there if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. Same with path local. All right, so you can go through and you can mess around with all these different settings. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to go into my material and come on down to UV1. So I can take a look at this. I'm going to make sure they're not linked. They should be linked by default. I'm going to unlock my ratio. And I believe it is the Y I need to play with here. Alright, it's one of these. It's not the X, okay. It's kind of tweaking, pulling that in. And can we fit the other one in? Larger one? We could do the larger one if we wanted the one yellow line. And then I'm going to go for the double. And then I'm going to go right there. Now, of course, I can turn this up a little bit, right? I can just go 13 instead of that, or we can go like maybe 12.5 and then just play with the offset a bit to tweak that. That's going to come down to your preferences and what you want to do. But for my case, this works perfectly fine. And just like that, we're able to generate a road based off a path that we put in. And we can see we got this little gap in here. So how can we fix that? Well, if we take a look at our mesh, we can take a look. Let's see, we got distance and we got subdivide. Well, that's not going to help us. So I'll set that back there. Oh, look, we have an option called path join. Let's turn that on. And now we have a nice join going on all the way around. Looking beautiful. We also have the option to smooth your face if you want like that, if you wanted to. And because this is working off of a path, you can actually come in and you can change this at any point. So I'm going to grab my path here. And as you see, I'm going to say, oh, maybe we have a bump in the road, right? I'm going to lift that up a bit. Right, maybe we want to go up a hill all of a sudden. Right, maybe a steep hill. And you can see the road is actually going with us, even though we're just tweaking the path itself. And that not only works for that, but it's also going to work for the rotation. So if we grab we have these yellow handles going around each of our points. So if we grab the right dot associated with that. A little tricky there. Try that again. Here to select, right, I was still on add. And I can go ahead and rotate those so we can have this go along the outside if you want to have a nice little bend in there. Now obviously this is a little rough, so I probably want to smooth that out a bit, play with my path some more. So, you know, maybe something along that, right? But as you can go ahead, you can tweak around with it, and you could go ahead and create more CSG meshes. So if you wanted to put, say, a guardrail going around it, you could go ahead and do that. And again, have that along the path, maybe set an offset, and have that going around just like we have with our road here. And really, that's all it takes. It's just a matter of playing around with all the parameters that you have access to. Now, if you really wanted to, you could use a little bit of code, maybe set up some raycast, and on each of these points, then try to drop it down and have it kind of form these shapes based off the environment that it's sitting on. You could. I don't see much of a point with that. Sure, it'll save you a little bit of time, but whatever, to me at least. But there you go. That's how you go ahead and use a Path 3D or Spline to generate something like a road. And of course, you can use this for other things. You can use this for pretty much anything. You can use it for, not necessarily like this. You can also use it with use a script, right, and do something based off of the points. Say every other point you put a lamppost, or every third point you put a bench. You know. All right, but that'll do it. I know I'm starting to ramble on a bit. That's it. Take care, and see you guys in the next one. Where's my mouse? There it is.